Michael.
Hey, Linda.
Could you hear my news in the background? Could you hear my audio or no? I'm just curious.
No.
Oh, good. I had the CNN news online talking. I just wasn't, yeah. I was curious if it would be playing in my earphones, like for everyone. Anyhow, you answered my question. Great shirt.
Yeah, thanks. This is a shirt we got from the vendor that showed up every year at the fair at Regal.
Oh yeah, I know. I miss the Sonoma County Fair. It's always this week, and it's funny. You get that sense, those milestones. I got the feeling it's fair time. I don't know. I was out watering the plants, but yeah. And I used to always like to go visit the vendors. I bought my first set of hammock chairs at a fair years and years ago, and I've replaced the hammock portion twice now. The company's still in business, but I've never seen them at the fair, and I finally found them online. But yeah. How are things on Eileen Drive, President's Row?
Pretty good. We've got a little bit of action with the neighbors, where one guy was on vacation when the lockdown happened, and he was in Costa Rica. So he was there. He was stuck there for a couple of months.
Wow.
But he had lived there before, so it wasn't as uncomfortable as it might have been.
Yeah.
But then he moved. So he got back from that, and he was only back for about a month. And we see a moving van out there. And it turns out, he said this wasn't even on the radar when he first got going. And he got back, but his parents live in Massachusetts. And he said they're home builders back there. And I said, move back here. And we have 120 acres, and we'll build you a house.
Oh, wow. Is he a young guy?
Yeah, kind of 40-something maybe.
Yeah. I like Massachusetts. I went to school there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to boarding school. I was the only girl in an all-boys dorm.
How'd you manage that?
My parents were the dorm heads. I had a lot of girlfriends visit. Yeah. But it was, that was in Western Mass, where Vermont and New Hampshire intersect. Beautiful. I had a view of the Connecticut River out my dorm window, and then I went on to Northeastern University in Boston. I love Boston.
Yeah, I visited there. I like it too.
Yeah, Helene loves Boston too.
Yeah.
Linda, how did you get out to California?
You know, I followed my mom. I was married with children living in Chicago, and she had vacationed out here and loved it so much. They reinvented themselves in their 40s and moved to Sebastopol. And 3-4 years later, we moved here too. And I called my sister and I said, if you're going to end up out here anyhow, we have room on the moving van. So she had 2 weeks to decide. Once she was selling high-rise condominiums in downtown Chicago, and once there were only 1 or 2 condos left, once they were sold, that job was over. So she decided to come to California too. Yeah, so here we are.
Linda, what year was that?
That was 1988.
88. Okay.
Yeah. I always judge it by Scotty's birthday. He turned 2 that month. Yeah. Yeah. And my first house was on Eileen Drive.
Okay, Joe, where are you off to now?
We're heading to Oregon. Ah.
So we're in beautiful Katati grade right now. And I'm not driving.
Well, I figured
Okay.
that.
Oh, there's the driver.
Hi,
Katati
Patty.
grade, which way are you going?
We're going to Sun River in Oregon.
But the Katati grade, that would
Well,
make
we're
me
heading,
think,
no, you got to go down 101 to 37 to.
oh, you'd go that way. Okay.
Yeah, rather than going over the mountain.
Got it.
Patty, did you say you're going to Hood River?
Sun River.
Oh, Sun River. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, by Bend.
Oh, that's a great place for the summer. Great.
Yeah.
Well, we're only going to be there for a few days, and then we're heading up to Portland on grandkid duty.
Nice.
No.
Hello,
You have to
Bruce.
stop at the border and get your temperature taken?
No, and I don't think we're bringing anything across. No, that's when you come the other way. They get you for
Yeah.
bringing stuff
Right.
over.
Hear anything?
And we always have to kind of, because there's always some sort of fruit or something in the car, you know, and you
Hide the bananas.
hide them. Yep. Anyway, it's a little bit foggy going down into Petaluma.
God.
You're
It's a little foggy up
driving
there.
and zooming at the same time?
No,
Oh, no.
Patty's driving.
Okay.
I know it's killing Joe not to drive, but that's all right. He's sacrificing
Thank you, Patty. We appreciate that.
his control thing so that he can listen to you guys.
Hmm.
You have to get your Rotary stamp stamped every Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Joe, are you going to attend a meeting in Bend while you're there?
No, I doubt they're meeting in person. I did make up there once a few years ago, and it was kind of fun. It was about 30-ish folks, and but I doubt. I didn't even check, but I doubt they're meeting. I don't think any Rotary clubs are they?
No, I think they're
Morning, Marnie.
probably doing what we're doing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite Rotary stories are from making up at other clubs in other states and cities. I always come back with a story. It's just fun.
Well, especially you happen to be on an elevator.
Yeah. Well, I was in Midtown Manhattan, and I went to their lunch club, and at the end, this man comes up to me and he says, "By any chance, do you know George Dutton?"
Oh my God.
He says, "When you go home, you tell him Big Dave Del Monte says hello."
Yeah.
So it is a small world.
Been driving up to Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were in Oregon.
Well, I don't know. They're going someplace.
Yeah, we're heading up to Sun River.
Hello. I'm driving.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Hey, Bill, I have a bottle of Penal for Polio for you.
Oh, good.
When can I get it to you? Or you ever come out this way?
Yeah. We'll work it out sometime.
Well, there's no traffic.
Joe, did you hurt your neck there or something when you got a neck brace?
No, I've got my, it's a permanent fixture, my mask.
Oh, it looked like you had some kind of a neck brace going.
Oh, no, I'm preparing. If Patty's driving, I got to be ready.
Yeah, we'll have a bank.
Jerry, are you going to be diving off the cliffs?
No.
No.
In Lake Havasu? Nope. I'm way too old for that stuff.
I was talking to Jerry with his background.
Oh.
Then, I did get on a little boat down on the river in the water there. and you can kind of go up to the base of some of the falls.
Made of the mist?
Yeah, it gets pretty wet, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's beautiful. You should go Iguazu Falls on the border of Argentina and Brazil, and the southern part of Brazil. Quite a place. Or watch the movie The Mission. That's where I first learned about it. And so it took me 24 years before I actually got there to see it in person, though.
Morning, Michael.
Hey, Bill.
How are you?
Good.
Michael, I know you've been to Beirut and you stayed there for a while.
Yeah.
Do you have friends that are okay, or?
Yeah, I do, and I need to get in touch with them today. That was my plan. That was a horrible, unbelievable explosion, and the damage. It's very much like Los Angeles in the sense that the city is up against the ocean on one side and then mountains on the other side. And so you can just imagine the devastation that blast must have caused. It apparently was wreaking havoc for miles from the source, which is right at the harbor. So.
No, it reminded me of a blast. I looked it up on the internet. 1976, there was an oil tanker that blew up in Los Angeles harbor. And I felt it. I was living about 20 miles away, and it rocked my windows in my house 20 miles away.
Wow. Yeah.
I think the photographs of the shockwave are impressive. I've heard shockwaves before, but I have never seen representation visually of a shockwave.
Are we on mute?
No.
No, we can hear you.
I can't control your computer, so I have no idea what to do.
Stop talking until you mute it.
Now, children.
The principal's here.
Principal's here, but you must behave. Marty, it brings me back to having to go visit Mr. Perotti.
Well, I'm going to be visiting members of the city council if they allow that homeless shelter to go in that hotel. I can't believe it. That's the last thing. And I'll also be calling Linda Hopkins today. She needs her head examined if she thinks the county should buy that hotel.
Which hotel?
Sebastopol.
Marty, why do you think that's a bad choice?
I think it's a bad thing, but we'd have to hire another squad of police to control it. But we'll have to have more fire department and everything else, because this morning, if you listen to the news in the city, at one of these upscale hotels the city and county of San Francisco rented, somebody was making honey oil or whatever in the hell it is and almost burned the place down. No, I'm not in favor of elderly people will be afraid to walk the Joe Redondo Trail.
You're already
there. I know all you progressives out there think I'm wrong, but I'm not. Okay?
Sounds pretty NIMBY-ish to me.
No. I'm a registered Democrat and I'm not voting for Trump, but I don't want to have that place turned into a mess. The city council can't do anything. They're afraid to do anything on Morris Street. I walk down that way to go to the lagoon with the dog every day, and the place is a mess.
Marty, there's precedent in the courts in California that they can park wherever they want to park, and they can move a foot every 3 days.
I know you.
It's not the city council. It's not the city council.
They have called something that there was an actual trailer that had been gutted that you could look in and see nothing was in it. They did finally tow that one away. But if you're Chip Castleberry and Loretta and you own a business there, they get people coming into their business when they're open saying they're afraid to go there. Also, on the weekends at the Barlow, we've had a lot of car break-ins and stealing of catalytic converters down there.
So they have to get a judge somewhere to be willing to overrule precedent.
Marty, where would you have them go?
Yeah, my question would be, do you think the hotel's a bad idea, or do you think the Sebastopol Inn is a bad idea? In other words, are you objecting to the concept of buying hotels and housing?
Yeah, I don't think the county.
Or do you think that it's just because it's the one in Sebastopol?
I don't think the county should buy hotels. That's my first objection. My second objection is I think it's going to create a crime situation which, at the size of our police department, is impossible to deal with without adding more officers. I would think, now, if I was on the city council, which I'm not because Sarah Gurney will just probably help them run a water hose out there from the thing to put campers in front of her house. I can hardly wait to see that.
Okay, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Are we all here and happy to be here this morning?
Mm-hmm. Yes, teacher.
Yes. And here we go. Here we are again, July 15th. Oh, it is. I screwed up. Wrong date.
July 15th.
It's August 5th. I never fixed that slide. Jim Glom had the pledge today.
Please stand and face the flag. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Jim Gilliam. Is Jim Gilliam with us today? Okay, apparently he's not. So, does anybody have any words of wisdom to share with him?
Yeah, I've got a quick one.
Okay, Judy, go ahead.
Children have more need of models than critics.
Yep.
That's too heavy.
So I kind of came across this one and I just thought it was kind of cute. Wear thy mask.
That lane ends on the right.
Wave to your Zoom friends. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Do we have any cyber Rotarians with us this morning?
What's a cyber Rotarian?
I don't think we do. How about cyber guests?
There's one.
There's one. Hi, Patty.
My driver.
Isn't it nice that you have a chauffeur?
Absolutely.
So, Joe.
All right. Well.
Uh-oh. Joe froze.
I'll probably wake up the chickens down here in Petaluma. But what do you think? You know, baseball season is happening, whether we like it or not. And I'm sure you've all been watching the Yankees. Right, Bruce? So take me out to the ball game this morning, all right?
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever
get back in it. Root for the home.
Cubbies.
They don't win. It's a shame. For it's 1, 2 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Let me get my thing back. Come on.
Play ball.
Oops. Is that what I wanted to do? I'm trying to get it so that I can't get my bar back so I can mute everybody. Okay. So we have a couple of birthdays. Linda and I are almost separated at birth. My birthday's tomorrow. Linda's is Friday. So Linda, what are you doing for your birthday?
Well, you and I are celebrating Saturday at the Fireside Chat.
That's right. That's right.
There will be birthday cake.
We need birthday cake. Al.
Well, I'm on the list for the dessert, so got that covered.
Goody, 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 goody.
Yeah. So I'm beginning my last year in my 50s. Woohoo!
You're a baby.
Well.
So, but other than that, you no giant plans?
We haven't been to San Jose in a few weeks, so we're driving down to see Jim's mom, and she's going to have a dinner. And then Saturday's the Fireside Chat, and Sunday Danny might be going salmon fishing, so I might get to celebrate with little Jameson, who's about to turn 1 already. So the days are full.
Yep.
Something every day.
Nice.
Yeah. But I feel good about it. It's a mellow birthday, and yeah, here we are. I was thinking about how we used to get together, you, me, Donna Dozier, Zeke. We'd go to lunch, and so maybe next year. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Well, I'm having a low-key birthday because my dear darling husband is giving a dental procedure tomorrow afternoon that will mean that he's eating soup tomorrow night. So, oh well, we'll celebrate on Saturday, won't we?
Yes.
No anniversaries, but is Brian Purcell with us this morning? I don't see him. Well, he and Jan had their anniversary a couple of weeks ago, but he hasn't been here. I think he's still out running with his daughter until she goes to grad school. No Rotary anniversaries, but we do have a few things happening. First, Linda mentioned the Fireside Chat this Saturday, and what we're doing and why we haven't really broadcast it is because we're going to do it out here on my patio, and we're limiting it to 8 people because we can sit outside and be apart. You know, we can be the 6 feet apart and be safe. And if we open it up to everybody, it would be dicey. You know, we really wouldn't be able to do it in person. So we are doing the Fireside Chat. You know, I don't know if we need to rename it or not, call it a patio chat. But we are doing it so that Joyce and Marnie will have, I think it's the final piece of their fermentation process. Woohoo! Then on the 12th, that's next week, after our regular meeting will be an International Service Committee meeting. So anybody who's interested in our international projects and what we may have coming up or are thinking about if we have money, please stay after our regular meeting next week. Then on the 20th is the club board meeting. And of course, everybody is invited to that. And the Zoom link will be in the members only section of our website. The 27th is the SCARC meetings. You know, everything's on Zoom. I didn't put that in here this week because I figured we all know it. SCARC meeting Healdsburg, and the speaker will be James Gore, talking about basically what's going on in the county. So it could be a very interesting meeting. And of course, everybody is eligible to go to that. And we will have that link. When we get it, we'll put that link in the members only section of the website. Guess what? It's time for dues. One of the things I wanted to mention, you know, everybody, we know how much our dues are. They're $335 a year. But what probably most of you don't know is that $155 of that goes to Rotary International and the Rotary District. So that's 335, 155. That's only $180 of that dues actually comes to the club, and that is what we use for operations. We pay dues to Rotary International twice a year. We pay dues to the district once a year. So it's time for your dues. Mail them to the club. Jerry has the information. So contact Jerry if you need to do a credit card, or otherwise mail it to the club P.O. box.
Please note, Barbara, mine have been sent in.
I know
a long
yours
time ago.
have. This is, I'm not singling anybody out here. I know a lot of you have paid, but I just wanted to make sure I'm being politically correct. And then we had our SCARC meeting last week, and we hosted it. And I really want to thank Michael Cook and David Mark Raymond for doing a yeoman's job, a fantastic job of helping organizing it and working on our timeline. And Michael for handling a lot of the Zoom stuff in the background while I was leading the meeting. Then we had a lot of members attend. I think there were 11 of us total, and it really went great. It was so interesting to hear what clubs are doing for fundraisers, but more than anything, what they're trying to do for fellowship. Because let's face it, the biggest thing that we all miss is getting together and seeing each other on a weekly basis. We miss First Fridays. We miss going out and physically going and doing things. So it was really interesting to listen to all of that. And some of the ideas that we got, we will try to integrate and build on and do. So thank you, Michael and David. Now, next year, next July, because we normally host the July meeting, and normally we host it out there at Boleto. And I had one friend said, I'm so sorry it's not at Boleto. I can't replenish my wine cellar. So next year, hopefully we'll be back at Boleto. Week in review. Well, we have Pretty in Pink, and I know Lori's not with us this morning because she's on her way camping. But I wanted to leave this up here anyway because I just thought it was such a cute picture of her with her granddaughters. So she said she will contribute some happy bucks, but not till next week. And then we have this picture, and anybody know whose picture this is? Is Kathy with us this morning?
Yes, yes.
There you are. You made us all hungry. Tell us about this.
It's strudel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from David Mark Raymond's apples.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, how you like them apples?
They're very good. I made a lot of applesauce also.
Kathy's Bodega Bay Kitchen.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, your kitchen must have smelled wonderful.
I'm always doing something.
Yep.
So.
Are you happy about it?
All happy bucks, 25 bucks, happy bucks.
Thank you. And then we have this. Anybody know whose garden this came from, David?
That all kind of looks familiar.
I thought so.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy about that. I think I'd put in some happy bucks on having a garden, and I'll let other people out themselves, but every once in a while a vehicle pulls up, a trunk flips open with a Rotary emblem on the back of the car, and then they take off with a variety of things. I'm picking apples still, if anybody's interested.
So how many members of this club have some sort of a veggie garden this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Great. Good. And is it doing well? Are you having fun? Is it therapeutic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't have any veggies this year because of the gophers in my raised beds, but just going out and pulling weeds, very satisfying. So weekly announcements, I think the first thing I want to say, and I don't have a slide for it, is, you know, we talked, or there's a little bit of talk about it earlier, but the devastating explosion in Beirut. And I think if we remember back to a few weeks ago when we had the presentation from Shelterbox, I was looking at the news this morning, and it says that up to 300,000 people have been displaced by the explosion.
Wow.
And I'm sure Shelterbox will be there. So if you want to help, I think Shelterbox is a great place to go and help, because this is exactly the kind of thing that they are equipped for. And with Rotary in Lebanon, now Lebanon itself is in an economic crisis, but I'm sure the Rotary clubs there are still active and will still pitch in. So think of Lebanon and think of Shelterbox, because it's probably the best place to go if you want to help. Michael Cook. Michael, where are you?
I'm here.
And Michael, please add how to mute on part of your tutorial today. To me, that's like the most important thing.
Okay.
Yes.
And also the unmute. So we're not going crazy on it.
Yeah, because I'm not finding how to mute all, but that might be me. So Michael, what's our quickie tutorial for today?
Well, I just wanted to cover something we're somewhat familiar with, is the ability to toggle between gallery view and speaker view. And there's also a feature called Spotlight that we might be using in the future, kind of overlaps that. So as you know, the gallery view makes for that grid where you can see a lot of people. Except when the screen sharing is going on, it tends to occupy most of what you see. Or if you're on a smartphone, it occupies all of what you see. But you can drag the boundary between the slide that you're looking at and the view of the club. So like right now I have, I think almost everybody on the meeting is showing up to the right of that slide. So for a desktop view, then you can change that boundary. And the speaker view just highlights whoever is speaking. But if you've tried it out, then you probably also notice that if somebody makes a noise, then the focus goes to that view. So it isn't always convenient. But behind the scenes, a host, like Barbara is a host of this meeting, can spotlight somebody, and it works to give everybody that speaker view and also pins the particular person that's in the spotlight to the screen. So you can switch back to gallery view if you want, but that is a convenience for like when somebody is speaking to the club, we could put spotlight on and it would do the same for everybody. So that's like as if you had the ability to go to speaker view and pin that view as an individual, then this does it for the whole group. So you may be seeing us doing that in the future. The one other tip I wanted to cover today is, for me, it's really convenient to always have the toolbar showing. That's a setting that you can have. And on a desktop, if you go into settings, you can find it under accessibility. So you see this row on the left of things that you can, or column, I mean, on the left, that shows the different areas you can do settings in. And the last one is accessibility. It only has a couple of things, and one of them is always show the toolbar. And for me, that's a convenience because I don't mind sacrificing a little screen space so I can see whether I'm on mute easily. I can click the little controls like for participants, which gives me the list of the participants, and share screen. Those things are part of that toolbar. And if you're joining by iPhone or a smartphone, then not all the icons show up, but there's a 3-dot thing that you can see in the lower right corner. And if you tap on that, you'll see that list. And one of them is show the toolbar. The only trick is Zoom looks different on different machines. So desktop is one thing, but the iPad is unique in that the controls are always at the top of the screen in an iPad. So when you hear us talking about where something is on the screen, it's usually talking about where it is on a desktop client. So in deference to this thing we just were talking about is the mute and unmute. Once you're muted, if you want to unmute, you can do it by clicking on the icon and on a desktop in the lower left, or you can hit your space bar on the keypad, and that will toggle back and forth. So the space bar will give you a way to temporarily unmute. So there you go. That's enough for today.
Great. Thank you very much. If you have any questions for Michael or anything that you want him to cover on our little quickie tutorials, shoot him an email. We're all learning, and some of us have used this more than others. I'm still learning a lot. Every time Michael talks, I go, oh, okay, that's how you do that. Now.
Barbara, it's Marty.
Yes.
Michael, can we talk sometime about what you need? Apparently my Mac, when I try to put a virtual background, it says do you have to have a certain amount of bandwidth or something to use a virtual background? Mine keeps saying I don't have enough juice to do it.
Yeah, it's the model of Mac that you've got doesn't have the CPU to handle the virtual background. I've seen that also on iPads and that sort of thing too.
I have the same problem, Marty, and I just got a new one, but you have to have a certain chip in it. It has to be a certain chip. If it's not that level,
is this a chip that you can add, and you can go online and order and then have somebody come plug it in the computer?
No.
I think it's the CPU, so you would have to trade in your computer to get that.
Well,
or get a green screen.
Brutal.
I'm too busy fighting with insurance companies.
Okay, thank you. Now if I can get this thing to work. Why doesn't it want to work? There we go. So happy bucks for our community foundation. I love this picture because the deer is happy eating an apple. And since it's Gravenstein season, I thought it was cute. Now we've had a few happy bucks from other people. Does anybody else have anything they're happy about?
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
I'm happy my bathroom remodel is done.
Yay! And is it beautiful?
Yeah, it is. For a tiny little bathroom, it came out pretty nice.
Good. How happy are you?
$20 happy.
Thank you. Send the check to, now this money is going to our community foundation, so please remember that. And so the check
I'm happy.
What?
I said, I'm happy. I'm getting my garage painted today. After 27 years.
Why now?
Because the painter was next door, so he was convenient.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, so we're early. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we get into our main discussion today? Well, it's a little unusual because our speaker had to cancel. So I decided to seize the opportunity to have the whole club talk about what we're doing with our community foundation. But before we do this, we haven't really had a club assembly, and this is a quasi assembly, but I wanted to make sure that we introduce who's doing what this year. The first thing is Charlie Judson is still coordinating our programs. Joe Gaz is helping him. Every one of you, and I know the task force has been really great about proposing people, but we all need to be thinking about it, and think about it in terms of Zoom, because, you know, like we've had Dr. Gloria speak from Arkansas. We can have people from everywhere come and speak. Now on Dr. Gloria, Nick had asked whether he could share her program with the other organization that he's involved with, and got permission from Dr. Gloria. And so Jim Goodenough took our meeting video and edited it down to just her part. So if you want to, oh, there's Lori. Are you traveling? Anyway, let me finish this. So if anybody's interested in downloading that, it's too big to email, but if you want to download that, that is in, I believe, the members only section of our website.
Yeah, I can update that. We got the permission from Dr. Gloria, and I put John to work on what Jim had done in order to make that video available at a site that is not intrusive on Rotary or anybody else. I haven't finished this process yet because I'm still dependent on John for help, but by the end of this week, I will send around an email saying how people can get access, easy access to download that really moving and powerful video.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that.
Then Rotary Foundation this year is Diana Curtis. Yay, Diana. You'll be hearing, you've heard from her before, you'll hear from her again. Then membership is Al. So Al is the one coordinating our patio chat this weekend. And he has a committee of Linda Sinkay and Kathy Rogers. International is Michael Cook. So next week, after our meeting when the international—
President Linda, can I interrupt you? I mean, Barbara, it's more than that. We've had more people join membership.
Wonderful.
Yes, I didn't tell you. Darlene Brazil has returned, another past chair of membership, and Kathy Rogers and Nancy Wilson, all who have been on membership before. So it's a pretty powerful group. We just need to get some folks to come to our meetings.
Great, thank you. Michael Cook. Youth is, of course, is Louis. Let's see, then we have the task force, which is Michael Fells and Judy Rice. And the Christmas dinner, in whatever form it's going to be, is Kathy. And that's still up in the air, and we've been talking about that a lot. Now, let me go back here. Yay, there you go, pretty in pink. I just thought this was the cutest picture ever.
Already
you're cutting out. Well, Lori, I'm sorry, you're frozen. So.
Looks like she's at the dentist.
No, she's in her RV. She's on her way to camping. Okay, now you can talk.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now, barely, yes. Yeah.
I'm in the hills of in the hills of Benbow here, so my internet's in and out.
And now it's
sorry. Okay, well, I'm in the hills of Benbow. Yep. And that was at my daughter's house. So we have a fun time, and I'll do happy bucks at $20 when I get back in town.
Watch the road.
Thank you.
Oh, he's driving. I'm being a backseat driver. There's
So we have 2 people traveling. So now I'm going to stop the share. There we go. And I wanted to talk or have everybody participate in talking about our community foundation, because it really is the backbone of how we do what we do. And we're going to start off with Jerry. So Jerry, if you want to unmute yourself. There you go. Now I'll get back. Here we are. I'm going to share a screen of, there we are. And I'm not sure how well this is going to turn. But the biggest issue we have is our budget. So here's the budget that was approved by the board. Jerry, if you want to talk a little, and hopefully everybody can see it. I tried to get it all on one page. So Jerry, do you want to talk a little bit about our budget?
Sure. What there is, our community foundation, thank you all for contributing happy bucks to it, because we can use it. But typically, the way we divide up money that's available for projects and grants and that sort of thing is 2/3 local community projects and 1/3 international. And that's a rough guideline. The community parts of it include, everything like the holiday dinner you see there, the food assistance, our lunch program, student of the month. There's a lot of things that go into it beyond just special projects that we might fund, things like the playground that we did. So there's a lot of ongoing projects that we do that are part of that 2/3 of the money that go into local projects, which of course is very good. We all appreciate everything we do locally. Another benefit from the district and from Rotary is a district. I'm blanking out. Barbara, help me. I'm blanking out on the yearly
district grant.
The district grant. Thank you. Wait, I got to drink more coffee. Anyway, the district grant. Each year we can pick a project, which can be either locally or internationally. And I'm quite sure this year we're doing a local project. And the district will match 1-to-1. So we double the money that we have available for a local project. So if we, and I think this year, if I'm maybe $2,500, I think is the match. Is that right, Barbara?
It's 2,000. 2,000.
Okay. So we put in 2,000 and magically that doubles because the district, through the money that comes back when we donate to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation, after 3 years, money comes back to our district and we get to spend that money again. So a wonderful project through the Rotary Foundation. Anyway, oh yeah, there it is right there, District Grant Project 2000. And then we have some administrative expenses, the largest of which is our storage unit. And now that we've kind of pared back on things, it would sure be nice to be able to save $2,800 a year if there's some way we can eliminate that storage unit. But that's a project for the board to work on, I guess. And the community foundation also at times helps pay for the rent at the Masonic Hall, which we're actually saving quite a bit of money right now because thanks to the Masons, we're not having to pay any rent right now. So if anybody has any questions, or Barbara, if there's anything else you want me to cover.
Does anybody have any questions? I just wanted to talk a little bit about the resources. Basically, you know, miscellaneous donations, unrestricted net assets, that's basically what we have available in reserves that we can spend. And as you can see, we're basically at this point with this budget planning on spending all of it. The food assistance is money that we collected last year that we didn't spend. So I have it up here as a resource, and then down in the expenses as an expense. But as you can see, the bottom line, you know, this budget is $2,800 in the hole. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the revenue piece and fundraising in a bit. So I'm going to thank you, Jerry. If anybody has any questions about the budget, contact Jerry and we'll figure it out. So now we're back to here. So now let's talk a little bit about what we do and this has been, you know, a board discussion, of course, but I want it to be a club discussion because we're in extraordinary times right now. We have the food assistance, and that's the $50 gift cards. And Michael McLaughlin and I are meeting the fellow who's the president of the Interchurch Food Pantry at 1:30 today to present him with another 80 $50 gift cards to distribute to the clients of the food pantry. And to me, this really gets to the heart of what we are doing. We're helping our neighbors. And these gift cards, these are to Furcrest, and one of the things I love about Furcrest, it says no alcohol and tobacco. So they can take this food card, this gift certificate, and go to Furcrest and buy not just food, but they can buy soap. My daughter says diapers. They can buy toilet paper. They can buy pet food. They can buy whatever it is that they need that's, hopefully that's essential to supplement and just help them. And these are our neighbors. And that was, to me, so gratifying because this food assistance program, how we funded it was we took last year the money that normally the club out of operations would have spent to send me to the international convention. We took that $2,500 and transferred it to our community foundation to help pay for these gift cards, for the first round of gift cards. Then we had a special $500 district grant money from the Rotary Foundation that we used. We've now collected $11,000, $3,000 of that from those two sources. So $8,000 of these gift cards came from all of you, from individual contributors who put money in and said that this was important. My point is that every one of us is out in the community. What do you see? What can we do to help our community? Now, Michael McLaughlin, I want you to unmute yourself. And of course he goes off. But anyway, Michael McLaughlin, yep. Unmute.
I walked away without the mouse.
Okay, so Michael McLaughlin is our chair for community services. And Michael, I want you to talk about what are some of the other things that we're doing? What are we looking at for our district grant? Let's see,
Yes, she is.
Is she here? Oh, great.
Great. So yeah, we are, in terms of the district grant, we felt that the biggest need that we could address locally is in the area of the continuing education and making sure that the kids in town have the the computers and internet access that they need for distance learning. So we approached the Sebastopol Unified School District and are working with them to determine exactly what their needs are. As it turns out, we're in better shape locally than I thought we would be. All of the kids are going to be getting Chromebooks from the school, and they've spent a lot of money on buying hotspots so that they will have internet access from their homes. And so we're fairly encouraged with that. There are a lot of miscellaneous things that they don't have. Some PPE issues that are going to be coming up. There is a, it's not daycare, Barbara, what is it?
Childcare.
Childcare, there we go.
Right.
They have a childcare part of the school, and they need some audiovisual equipment for that. So they've got a laundry list. We've also talked, and Catherine Davey is here. Catherine headed up the consortium of special ed for Sebastopol and the West County, and they have some needs. So Catherine, why don't you at this point unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about what the needs are for the special ed department.
Thanks everybody, thanks for having me. Hi gang, Marty, Linda, hi everybody. A lot of you guys know me, and believe it or not, I actually retired 3 weeks ago, but I am still the ambassador for the West County Special Ed Consortium for sure. We serve kids with more serious disabilities. These are not kids with reading disabilities. These are kids with severe intellectual disability, autism, physical disabilities, a lot of very rare, syndromes. And our kids are kind of different because they can't actually type, and they can't actually sometimes do written work on the computer. So during the quarantine was very challenging for us to try to get them to engage and actually come and sit in front of a computer. And the families, of course, were just pulling their hair out. I think a lot of you guys might be surprised at how many families do not have good connectivity and do not know how to access a computer and a Chromebook. I was very surprised by that, because we have so many families that are so capable, but we had a lot of families that were really struggling to get their kids online. So getting Chromebooks to kids, we were driving them to kids and so on. So what we found is that, you're right, Michael, we did have enough Chromebooks for everybody in West County, except that we would deliver them and they would die. The Wi-Fi hotspot didn't work. So we were having, I would say 20% of the kids were really struggling to get online, even though we were pumping all these materials to them. So the kids with more severe disabilities, what we noticed was we didn't have touch screen Chromebooks, so they could touch the screen instead of use the keyboard, because we had not ordered a lot of touchscreen Chromebooks because they're a little more expensive, and but they work very well for kids with that don't have reading. So one of the things we are needing is touchscreen Chromebooks. The high school district and Sebastopol, they never ordered those because they didn't know we needed them. And then when the kids do come back, which we hope is going to be fairly, October, November-ish, we are hoping kids will start coming back to school, that we are going to need gowns, because those kids we feed the kids and the kids drool, and there's a lot of, contact, physical contact. So the teachers have a list of requests, demands, if you will, to when they come back to work, that they want gowns. I already ordered, before I retired, I ordered face shields, masks, and gloves. I've got enough gloves to, glove West County for a while. And we also ordered plexiglass, these big, the things you see in the banks where you pass the money underneath. We ordered a number of those, but we actually don't have enough of those because we didn't order enough in May when I wasn't sure kids were coming back. So that's another item we just discovered yesterday that we don't have enough of, because the speech therapists may have to sit this month. They may be starting right away by assessing a kid who doesn't have speech. And so they'll have to be in person with the child with this plexiglass retaining wall, if you will. So, a personal protective piece of equipment. So those are the biggies. When Barbara and Michael approached me and Patrick, I'd say those were the big items: the touch screen Chromebooks, gowns, and then now the plexiglass dividers. That's what we're in need of.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. So along with those needs and the needs of the Sebastopol Unified School District, we will have enough projects to take care of the $4,000 that we will raise with the community grant. So thank you very much, Catherine. You know, this club does a tremendous amount of good in our community, whether it's the Christmas dinner, whether it is supplying the lunches that we supply every single week and have continued to do so through the pandemic with Jim Glom leadership. The backpack program is temporarily suspended while kids are out of school, but every Friday we passed out backpacks that kids took home with them to make sure that those families had some amount of food for the weekends. You know, kids that would otherwise not have the food that they need. And we have done that continually on an ongoing basis for the last 4, 5, 6 years. You know, that all requires money. That all requires a budget. And we are certainly challenged today on how to go about doing that. We can't have live events, and you know, for the foreseeable future, we're probably not going to have live events. So our normal way of funding our operations just doesn't exist anymore. And I would like to make the appeal, and I know that the board feels the same way, that I think that at this point in time, we need to be self-funding. We all know what we spend on in normal times on a monthly basis for Rotary. You know, there's no free breakfast after you're inducted.
Michael, do you want me to share the document?
Sure, if you'd like. So basically what we're suggesting, what I'm going to do, and everybody can do what they want to, but the suggestion is I'm going to continue to contribute the amount that I normally spend on Rotary, and I'm just going to route that to our community foundation. So in my normal instance, I have always participated in small change, big difference. So I will continue to do that. And I'll do that to the $5 a week, which is what I always did. Our weekly meeting fees were $17. So I was spending $22 a week on Rotary, and I'm going to continue to spend $22 a week on Rotary. I will fund it $5 to the Rotary International Foundation, and I'll fund $17 a week to our own community foundation. If we all did that, that'll raise about $30,000 over the year, and will allow us to continue to keep the basic programs that we have had and that we love and that feel good to us about contributing to. It'll allow us to be able to continue to do that. So that's it.
So this is a prototype. This is a draft of a form that we will have available in the members only section of the website if you want to make that commitment, and we can do a recurring charge on your credit card. Or you can just write a check to the our community foundation. Now we do have some ideas for fundraisers. Michael Cook, where are you, Michael? There you are, if you want to unmute. Other organizations, and I don't see, is Darlene with us today? If Darlene is the Humane Society is doing their online event right now, starting today, and Michael Cook was involved with the telemedicine online. So Michael, if you want to talk a little bit about that, and we may plan on doing a virtual event because we can't do an in-person event.
Yeah, well, Global Offsite Care was all set to do a live in-person event in, I think it was April. It was so long ago now, right? But so we had gathered live auction items. We had a plan in place, and then put it off initially, and then decided that just wasn't going to happen this year. And so we pivoted and said, let's do it online. And we were looking for people that had experience doing something online, but the experience is very short. I mean, most people were doing in-person events, and there's one outfit we talked to that had all of 3 months experience, and another one was just getting started in it. An experienced auctioneer, but you want somebody that has some TV background or something like that so they can do it online. So we found people to help us with an online event, and we were thinking, so do we need all different kinds of things for a live auction? Or because usually what is it? An experience, right? You go somewhere, or you have a dinner, or maybe a few things like art exhibit, an art piece or something like that. And we just went with pretty much what we had, except we extended the deadline it takes to take advantage. So we had, staying at a place at Sea Ranch, or we had a staying at a place in Pebble Beach, and those went over pretty well. So people are saying, yeah, it won't last forever, and I want this in place for when we are able to take advantage. And these were homes, not hotels and that kind of thing. So I think people were a little more comfortable with that idea. There wouldn't be a whole lot of people converging where you were going. But at dinner, we had a 12-person Mileto dinner. Thank you, John. You've done a lot for a lot of things, like telemedicine, and I think also the Humane Society auction. He's donated to that. So people are saying, yeah, we'll bring together maybe a dozen people for that dinner, but not now, probably next year. So they're planning ahead, and those auction items went over pretty well. So we also had just what in our club we call a paddle raise, which just means you want to support this, you want to support what Rotary does, at what level would you like to support it? And you start off high and come down low. And that was, a lot of people want to give. They still want to donate and support the kinds of things that Rotary does and is known for. So it seemed like it definitely worked for telemedicine. In fact, we had our inaugural event last year in person, and the virtual online event ended up grossing twice as much as we did last year, partly because it was the second time around and we had a different form of outreach. But it shows that you can do at least as well with a virtual event as you can in person. We had a silent auction this year for the first time, and we sold 24 items and raised about $5,000, which is pretty much what we got from silent auction when we had in-person events with this club. So we had a few ringers in there. We put in a couple of items for $1,000 in the silent auction, and those were the kinds of things you could sell more than once. And we did sell about 4 or 5 of those. So it's not adding up, right? We must have made more than $4,000 off of the silent auction, but we were pretty happy with that. So things that we had for the Parisian Rendezvous were things like the Peace Pole, and we had a stay at there's a nearby house that people could come as a family and stay. And, you know, just like what Joe Gazowitz is doing right now, he's going up to visit family. So if your family wants to come here, that would be something we could auction off. So it's something to think about. It doesn't have to be a Parisian Rendezvous thing, but it could be a dimension of any fundraising event we care to put on.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Now, Michael McLaughlin, there's one other thing that we're hands-on that we're thinking about.
Yeah, we got a invite from the Redwood Empire Food Bank to come over and volunteer and help them with their sorting and passing out stuff as people come by. They essentially do it in 3-hour shifts in the morning. They do it from like 6 to 9, and they have another one from 10 to 1. And then they have two-hour sessions in the afternoon from like 2 to 4, and then like 5 to 7. And we would volunteer for a work day, or, you know, a project or a time frame. And they will socially distance us and give us masks and gloves and everything else. So I think that those of you that would be comfortable in doing something like that, we will set up a date with them and let you know when that will be. But I think that will give us an opportunity to get out and do a little bit of hands-on work. One of the other, you know, we are looking at other kinds of fundraisers. Obviously, they're all virtual at this point. The district sent out a interesting resource guide on virtual activities, which I've dispersed to some people. If anybody wants it, maybe we can we'll get the link to Jim, and he can get it up on the website too. There's some interesting things that people are doing online that are creative. You know, for instance, we were talking about doing a cat and dog show live. Well, somebody's come up with a way to do that virtually. That might be interesting. Casino nights, you know, are coming back big time online. When you can combine live auction and silent auction with a 90 minutes of a casino. So we're looking at other things, but I really think that for the immediate future, that our best opportunity to continue our programs is simply by funding ourselves, by contributing what we have normally spent on Rotary.
Great,
through our
thank you.
foundation.
Thank you. Yeah, if you remember looking at that budget, we had 0 for international. We have 0 for youth. We have 0 for a lot of the things that normally we would be doing. And if, like for the youth, if Interact gets back and they need money for something, we really don't have in the budget. So this is something collectively we all have to be thinking about, not just what are the needs in our community, but how can we get money and do things. Now, I do really want to thank, just a second, Bruce, Weeks, because they were a major sponsor at Parisienne, and we still have, and they paid for their sponsorship. So they are our major sponsor so far this year, because that is a major piece of what we have available. Now, Bruce, if you want to unmute yourself.
Barbara, I have a question from Michael McLaughlin relative to the grant that we're thinking about doing for the schools. Are we considering outside the city limits of Sebastopol? I think we need to look at the feeder schools for both El Molino and Anley.
I can answer that a little bit. I've been, actually I was emailing with Dan Rasmus of the Noon Club, and because they were thinking of partnering with us on this. So that's still an option. And Barbara Bickford, who is the superintendent for the Twin Hills district, I told Dan, contact Barbara and see what they need, and we can build that into a district grant. So yes, We are.
I also think, Barbara, it's Marty, that we should ask the Guerneville Club to join us. Everyone wants us to do Guerneville. They have a club that raises 20 times the amount of money we do. And you know that's true, Bruce. That auction that they put on raises $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Let's have them spend that money in those schools.
Yeah.
Marty, I'm not talking about Guerneville. I'm talking about things like Oak Grove and those in our district.
Those are all in the El Molino area.
Not Guerneville.
Yeah, and that's where it's critical. Yes, we'll do a district grant, and we're on a timeline for it because we have to have the application at the end of August. But when we see more needs, and that's what we need from all of you, is what are the needs out there? Now let's see how we can do it. So I want to thank everybody. I hope you all now understand a whole lot more about what we're trying to do. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, slideshow back here. Whoops. So we have Joe Gaz. Is Joe still with us? I bet he isn't. Does anybody have a way clean joke?
Hear me?
He's there.
Joe, there you are. You have a joke.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. A woman has twins and gives them up for adoption. One of them goes to a family in Egypt and is named Amal. The other goes to a family in Spain and they name him Juan. Years later, Juan sends a picture of himself to his mom. Upon receiving the picture, she tells her husband that she wished she had a picture of Amal. Her husband responds, but they are twins. If you've seen Juan, you've seen Amal.
Thank you. So, Rotary, be kind, be calm, be safe.
Who's number 10?
I forgot to do that this week because I've been trying to pick a number.
Oh, you knew it was me and you didn't want to send me that ticket.
Number 10 was actually Joyce.
Oh, okay then.
Oh,
Joyce,
good.
Here's your ticket. I'll give it to you on Saturday and you can scratch it and win $1 gazillion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So happy trails.
Happy trails.
That's Pooh Bear.
Joe.
Come on, Joe.
Happy trails to you
until we meet again. Happy trails to you.
Keep smiling. Happy trails to you. Till we meet again.
Hi, everybody.
Actually, better
Next week if we don't see you before.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Barbara.
Thank you.
Again. Happy trails.
Encore.
Till we meet again.
Joe's doing it as a round.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Hi, Bruce. Bye, Bill. Bye, David. Okay, I'm going to end it. We're all done.